Blessings are those experiences of divine kindness, mercy, or goodness. Blessings can be given or received. They can be actions or words. As many of you know, through the past 10 months, I have been recovering from a major infection in my spine. The horrific pain in my back and neck that started on November 17th was misdiagnosed for a couple of weeks, and during that time, the bacteria grew rampant throughout my whole spinal column. The result was the formation of large abscesses in my lumbar and cervical spine. These abscesses were so significant that they compressed my spinal cord and caused neurological damage. My memory of that day is vague, but I do recall Pastor Allison being with me when the neurosurgeon came to see me in the emergency room and said I needed emergency surgery on my spine. There was only a very short time for prayer before I was taken to the operating room. The surgery was successful, but after a few days of recovery from the surgery, my condition deteriorated and the horrific pain returned, this time in my neck. An MRI showed that I also had a large abscess in the cervical spine. Pressure from the abscess on my spinal cord began to affect my breathing, and I needed a second emergency spinal surgery. As I was waiting in the OR for that cervical spinal surgery, the neurosurgeon told me there was a 50-50 chance I could lose the use of my upper body. Strangely, I was calm upon hearing this. I told God I wasn't ready to go, and I asked him to save me so I could do more with my life. But I also recall thinking I was at peace with whatever God decided was my fate. I remember closing my eyes and praying to God, asking him to protect me and to be with the surgeon. Jesus' words of Matthew 21 reflect what God's presence during that time meant to me.
If you embrace this kingdom and don't doubt God, you'll not only do minor feats like I did with a fig tree, but also triumph over huge obstacles. This mountain, for instance, you'll tell, go jump in the lake, and it will jump. Absolutely everything, ranging from small to large, as you make it part of your believing prayer, gets included as you lay hold of God.
The second surgery was again successful. Although recovery has been long and difficult, it has also been very remarkable. I wanted to share with you today some of the details to place my situation in perspective, but more importantly, where I saw God and where I was blessed. After the surgeries and time in intensive care, I was unable to read, write, hold a conversation, walk, or even feed myself. Despite being bedridden for a month, encased in a turtle shell-like back brace and an immobilizing neck brace, initial recovery went well and I was transferred to rehab. Unfortunately, the stay was short-lived. I was soon diagnosed with DVTs, pulmonary emboli, and pneumonia, and was rushed back to the hospital. On Christmas Day, when most people were celebrating and enjoying time with their family, a vascular surgeon came to my room to tell me I needed surgery due to the blood clots in my legs and lungs. While in the waiting room of the OR, in the dark, I was scared and I was crying. A nurse came up to me and asked me what was going on. She told me not to worry, held my hand, and asked if we could pray together. What a comfort that was. As we waited for the surgery to start, she shared how she was going through chemo treatment, but she was continuing with her nursing care since she wanted to help others more critical than she was, and to be a source of strength to others even in her time of weakness. The nurse kept me calm and held my hand until I went in for surgery. She was a blessed angel sent to me at the exact moment that I needed her. Jeremiah 29 provides the comforting words I experienced that day.
I know what I'm doing. I have it all planned out. Plans to take care of you, not abandon you. Plans to give you the future you hope for. When you call on me, When you come and pray to me, I'll listen. When you come looking for me, you'll find me.
My rehab restarted a week later, and I finally stood up with the aid of 2 therapists. It took a lot of courage for me to stand, and also to show you this video when I was definitely not looking my best. But maybe it put some of my experiences in perspective.
Still doing okay?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be an overachiever, and I'm going to see if we can take some side steps towards me. Can we try that?
We can try.
Okay, so keep
I
your...
am going to want to sit down.
Yes, so how about this? We're going to take a few side steps to get higher up in the bed, and then we'll sit. Deal?
I was going to sit in the chair, I think, but no, okay.
Do you want to sit in the chair?
Yeah, with it.
Okay, so let's take some side steps first.
1,
Do you need help?
2.
Good.
Oh, really? There's really nowhere to go.
Yep, keep coming. We got to move the walker, that's why. There you go. Good. Can we do one more?
Sure we can.
Okay, one more side step. Walkers, left and right. Perfect.
The blessings that day of my first steps were especially abundant. But I received many blessings even before that day. I knew that you, my church family, was praying for me. Those blessings abounded, including well wishes, cards, blankets, food, a prayer shawl, treats, and visitors. These all gave me strength to endure, and I thank you. In fact, this video was taken by a church member who came to see me on December 27th. A week later, as my condition improved, I once again returned to rehab. Just when I thought I was on the road to recovery, I developed severe anemia. Continuing rehab was not possible, and so another transfer to the hospital emergency room. Several doctors were unable to find a cause for my severely low hemoglobin and red blood cell count and ordered multiple blood transfusions. A visit from the hematologist, however, cleared things up. He explained how, in times of trauma, the body focuses on what's important. For me, fighting the spinal infection and blood clots was more important to my body's overall healing than producing red blood cells. The hematologist turned out to be right. Eventually, the hemoglobin and red cells came back to normal as my healing progressed. Isn't it amazing what remarkable bodies God has provided to us? I see this experience as a blessing in understanding not only how our bodies work, but how important it is to focus on what's currently needed and important in our lives, and not to worry about the other, less critical things. Shortly before discharge from Kessler, I took my first step without a cane. Up to that point, I was hopeful that I would recover, but after taking the first step, I remember crying with my therapist and realizing I then knew, I just knew in my heart with certainty that I was going to be okay. After 2 months of doubts and fears, I felt blessed to have been given confidence and accompanying joy at my success and progress. I share this short video as a way to share my joy with all of you who have provided me with joyful times over many years.
I thought it was a kind of cool look, but you don't like it.
It's a very casual look.
I can hang it on the chair rail if you want. The cane.
All right, you ready?
Yeah,
You
I'm
just-
just
you
gonna
can just
leave
leave
it.
it.
I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah.
How
Well-
do I do this?
You just walk.
I just walk. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. Good. I am really just hands-on as a just in case.
Okay.
We kind of go a little left, a little right.
This is what I did 150 feet of yesterday.
With no, had nothing?
With what she's
Okay,
doing.
the chair's over there. Oh, you sit here?
I can sit here. What do you think, just the chair?
Up to you.
Yeah, let's just do the chair. Okay. Then sometimes I just stand here and I just reset, and I stand up straight.
That's why I like it.
Try to get my back stretched out.
Yeah. Beautiful.
What I like about it is I'm not taking a step and then trying to gather the step. I'm just walking as naturally as possible.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Thank you so much.
Acceptance of help has always been difficult for me. As we all know, it's easier to give than to receive. Being bedridden and dependent on others for everything, including feeding myself, I learned what it's like to be vulnerable and accept the help I was given. In fact, I realized how much of a blessing it is to others when you allow them to provide their help. I've often said to people who need help, if you need something, please give me a call. When I first came home, a church friend called and said, I'm bringing you dinner. Do you want it today or tomorrow? How inviting and thoughtful that offering of help was. It was a positive offering that took the pressure off of me to follow up and ask for help. The meal was coming, and I only had to decide what day to accept it. I certainly have received a lot more care and blessings than I've offered over the past 10 months. But throughout the past months, it was not difficult to find opportunities to return the favor of blessings. I truly believe we are all called to be God's hands and feet to minister to others. In 1 Peter 4, it is written,
Each of you has been a blessing with one of God's many wonderful gifts to be used in the service of others. So use your gifts well.
Sometimes we don't even know what a blessing or gift we are to others. As you may know, Kirk was at my side 12 hours per day, every day I was in hospital and rehab. One of his daily tasks was to fill out the menu order for the following day. The staff person came in each morning with his laptop and took the meal orders from Kirk. One day, a young guy who took the meal orders approached Kirk and said he wanted to let Kirk know how inspired he was by Kirk's dedication to being present and supporting me. He asked Kirk how long we were married. Kirk said 45 years. The guy said he was married for 4 years and hoped he would be so happily married for another 40 years. Seems to me Kirk's behavior and actions had been an unknowing blessing to this young man. As Kirk describes it, sometimes our actions speak louder than words. Throughout my stay, I tried to return the blessings I received and be a blessing to others. I made efforts to provide help to a roommate who needed some assistance, water, or a listening ear. I encouraged other patients in the rehab gym, praising their progress. I made conscious efforts to encourage nurses and therapists, telling them how much of a blessing they are to others. I developed an enormous respect for nurses and healthcare workers, having witnessed firsthand their difficult job. I can share these words from Proverbs 11.
The one who blesses others is abundantly blessed. Those who help others are helped.
The last of the approximately 8 roommates I had was a wonderful woman, Regina, who had similar injuries to mine. One day I heard her crying on the other side of the curtain that separated our sides of the room. I wheeled myself over to her and asked what was the problem. She explained how difficulty her recovery was going and the pain she was experiencing. I listened to her and understood firsthand what she was going through. Her recovery path was about 3 weeks behind mine, so I was able to share my experiences and assure her things were going to get better. I know she was comforted by my words and our sharing, and I'm sure I was a blessing to her. During our time together, I learned she and her husband were both Baptist pastors. He came to see her every night around dinner time, and I could hear them talking about what they had each done during the day. I also heard them pray together before he left. And in their list of prayers, they included Regina's roommate, me. I fell asleep every night knowing I had been prayed for by 2 pastors. Could there be a better blessing than that? When I regained some strength, I transitioned to outpatient therapy back at Kessler. It's a wonderful place, and I truly believe I am only as strong as I am today because of Kessler. My outpatient therapist and I came up with a plan as a way to be positive and look forward rather than backwards. We called this Look for the Win. In fact, my therapist liked the concept so much she plans to use it to motivate her other patients. Against all odds, when things look bleak, there is always a way every day to look for a win. As an example, for me, I found a win on days when I was able to roll over in bed, squeeze a ball, turn my head, feed myself, comfort a fellow patient, type a text message, or write my name. Angels continued to follow and bless us even after I returned home. On one of my first days home, Kirk asked what I wanted for breakfast. I said I would love a bagel. Ever the attending caregiver, Kirk was quickly at the back door putting his jacket on to go get the bagels. Before he could open the back door, however, the front doorbell rang, and a friend from this church was there with a bag of bagels in her hand. Once again, we were blessed by an FUMC angel. At my first follow-up visit to the neurosurgeon, the doctor walked into the exam room and said he was so glad to see me. I said, okay. He says, no, I'm so glad to see you because I didn't think you were going to make it. When the infectious disease doctor called to tell me the MRI results showed all the infection was cleared, his voice choked up when sharing the news. I don't think there's a medical specialist I have not seen over the past months. I certainly am blessed to have these doctors on my team, and along with God's protection, assured I was cared for and healed. My physical health is almost completely returned, but I am left with 2 surgical scars on my back and neck. Rather than hide or cover these scars, I look at them proudly and see them as a sign of what I have endured and a challenge I was able to overcome with God's help. I hope I was able to let you see through my experiences that I have received many blessings of divine kindness, mercy, or goodness, which gave me strength and healing. In addition to the abundance of blessings received, I think I was also able to be a blessing to others through good and bad times. My win today is having the courage to stand up here and share my story. Perhaps sometimes in too much detail, but it helps me to look back and see where I was, assess where I am today, and look forward to more blessings ahead. May you all find a win every day in blessings received and in blessings given. God is good.